All right then, let's do this. Morning, how are you diddling? Excellent, me too. Thank you very much for asking. I am hiding terrible hair. Actually, it's better now I've had the hat on it. But anyway, hiding terrible hair this morning. Welcome to another episode of Dazed, Confused, and Generally Buggered, which is exactly how we're all currently feeling during these strange times. And handily, I was given the title for my videos from my dad's old mug. So cheers, let's have a coffee, let's sit down, let's have a chat and talk all things social media and video this morning. As always, if you don't know who I am Simon Scholes, founder and creative director of Perception Studios, this thing here. Let me get my finger out of the way, there we go. And we are an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we help brands and businesses create visual content that really helps them stand out on their social media, but also on other channels as well. But specifically, we make social content, but we also make content for websites, that kind of stuff, documentary style content, all sorts of different types of things. So it became very prevalent to me. Oh, I don't know if my internet just went in or out then for a second. I kind of went black and back on again. Hopefully I'm still there. What was I saying? Yes, a few years ago, I decided actually I wanted to be the person that people went to for help rather than just instantly selling video as a solution, because a lot of video companies will say that video will offer better SEO and better dwell times and better conversion rates. And I was thinking in my head, well, yes, it will do all of those things, but only if you get the video to help your business do that in the first place. So in other words, it's a lot of bollocks unless you put some hard work in the first place. So what I wanted to try and do was help you as a small business, as a small brand, even as big brands. These rules apply. These are things that I learned from people who run multi-billion pound businesses. And when I say multi-billion, I mean people like IKEA and people like Burberry and people like the Arcadia Group, big industrial players who have got big budgets to play with. I learned from these people and then brought that kind of thinking to the small business platform so that you could learn how to take your business forward by building your brand. Now, they're doing it on a slightly less regular basis. You need to be doing it on a very regular basis, getting your content out there, creating regular content, being regular on social media. And that's why I came up with the how to 9 times your social media process, where you start with one piece of content and make that piece of content work harder for you until you've created 9, 10, 11 different pieces of content, which can then be posted on multiple platforms, about 5 or 6 different platforms. So you end up with not only 12 pieces of content, but you're able to post them in 5 or 6 different places. So then you end up with how many? 60 pieces of content going out to your potential audience. So that's a lot of content, but you've got to put a little bit of hard work in the first place. And let's take a look at the comments this morning. As always, the comments are open no matter what platform you're watching on, be it Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook on the How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, or on Facebook on the Perception Studios page as well. Please say hello. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know that you're still breathing, still getting through this lockdown craziness that we're all going through at the moment. And even if you're watching on the replay, feel free to say hello and all that kind of stuff. And in the comments, ask your questions. What questions do you have today about social media and about video? How can I help you get your brand out to a wider audience at the moment? What can I do to get you creating content? Quick hello to Facebook user who's saying, hey, is that Ed? I don't know if it is. I know when he tries to talk to me on the Facebook group, my How to 9 Times Your Social Media Facebook group, for some reason, it won't allow people to say that they want their content to be seen. So Facebook user, hey to you. But if you haven't joined my How to 9 Times Your Social Media group, then please do. It's a great little group. I'm slowly but surely trying to get people more involved in the content, get them interactive with it, get the people in there talking to each other. Because let's face it, it's a business group as much as it is a group to go in and learn more about social media and what you can do and how you can turn more content into more content. But also, it's a good place to go networking and say hello to other people. So reach out to other people in the group, reach out for help. Maybe there's somebody in there who could maybe help you. This morning, Anne Skelton was commenting on the content. She's a relationship coach. go and ask her for some help if you're struggling with that kind of thing in your life right now. And let's face it, probably a lot of people are. But if you've not joined it yet, there it is. That's the name of the group. Go search that out. How to 9x your social media. And in that group as well, at the very top of the page is the link to go and download my free book. It's a former #1 book. Used to sell it, but right now I just want to get you on that content creation journey. So start creating your content, download my book for free, and it'll take you through the whole process, the whole how to 9 times your social media process that I go through with my clients. The only difference being is obviously when I go through it with my clients, it's more a one-to-one basis and specific to their business. This is a little bit more generic, but gives you an idea of what you should be doing to create more content, especially if you don't have a huge amount of time on your hands. Although right now, a lot more of us have a lot more time on our hands. But anyway, so what we're going to talk about today. Well, actually, I want to talk to you about the importance of being social on social media. So many people still forget about this aspect of social media. So many people still forget about how important it is. And the fact that we're all human. We are actually human beings who like to interact with other human beings. We don't want to post a piece of content and not get responses from it. But when somebody does respond, then we read it, but we don't go back to them. We don't treat the person who's coming back to us as a human. We treat it as a comment. We treat it as characters on a screen rather than thinking there's another person behind that comment who's actually commented, and they might just be reaching out to say hello, or they might be reaching out to say thank you for posting, or they might be reaching out to ask you a question about the content that you've posted. But whatever it is, make sure you go back to them. Being social on the social media is so important. So I want to go through some of the different things you could do to be more social on social media. So #1, being more social on social media. When people comment on your content, 100% make sure you go back to them. Don't just sit there, read the content, and then step away from the screen. And like I say, just treating it as a bunch of characters on a screen that are connected to nothing. Those characters are a person. Just like this comment came through saying, hey, that is another person who is watching this piece of content right now. They are watching it live, which is brilliant. Thank you so much for watching it live. And everybody else who's watching it live as well, if you've not commented yet, say hello. But that Facebook user said, hey. Now, if I just ignored them completely, they would have probably just tuned out completely to the rest of my content. If not, even worse, just gone away and gone to watch something else rather than watching this right now. And that's what you've got to consider. No matter what platform people are commenting on, they want that human interaction back to them. Do not just treat them as characters on a screen. Even if they're trolling, do not treat them as just characters on a screen. Treat them as another human being with empathy and with kindness. So reach out and say hello back to them. Reach out and answer their questions. Now, I'm not saying if you have a channel right now and you've got 1 million subscribers and you get 50,000 comments every single piece of content that you put out. For example, Joe Wicks, at the moment, he's doing his daily live streams. He gets about 1 million, 1.5 million people watching throughout the day. He gets about 260,000 people watching live and doing the exercises live. Now, all those people are constantly commenting. And when you watch the feed, it's crazy. It's just like going past your screen like that. You can't even keep up with what people are saying. Now, there's no way he's going to be able to keep up with all of those comments. But after the stream, once he's had a chance to have a shower and have some food, he could sit down and spend 10, 15 minutes just responding to a few comments, or even have members of his team do that. Just responding back to a few comments. It's just a nice way of building that trust between you and your audience. And not only that, building that emotional connection between you two, because you're both humans. You both want that human interaction with the content. Just like this content comment that's just come through now on YouTube. Hello to my friend Shirley Parmigiana. She's got a great YouTube channel. She's in St. Louis at the moment, and she's watching live on YouTube. Hi, Parmigiana. Hi, Shirley. Thank you very much for tuning in. If I hadn't said hello to Shirley, there's a chance she might have tuned out as well. She probably wouldn't, because she's my mate, and she'd probably just stick around and watch anyway. But it's really nice that she's reached out and that I've reached back to her. So if you are getting comments on your social media, and it doesn't matter what channel it's on, don't be a dick. Don't be that person who gets 3 or 4 comments, or maybe gets 1 retweet or 1 comment on a tweet that they put out, and not respond to that person, because you really could make that person's day. Speaking of Twitter, very quickly, let's go and have a look, see what's happening on Twitter at the moment, see if we've got any questions that have come through. Not right now, that's good, but we've got a few of the guys from the 11th hour watching. Thank you very much for tuning in, folks. That's really cool. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Just start responding to comments, and it doesn't matter what social media channel this is on. And like I say, even if you get tens of thousands of people commenting or anything at all, interacting with your content, go back to at least a few of them. Spend 10, 15 minutes and just respond. It's not that difficult. Taking 10 or 15 minutes out of your day, if you've got a huge audience, is great. If it's got a small audience, it's still great. Ikram Ullah, thank you very much for tuning in. He says, "Sir, I need your help. Feel free, drop a comment, drop your question in the comments. We'll do our best to try and answer them as possible today during the live stream. And if I can't answer it during the live stream, we'll either go one-to-one on a Skype call or something like that. We'll get your questions answered, I promise." Okay, step number 2, start reaching out a little bit more. Every single social media channel is its own search engine. Facebook has a search on it. YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the planet. LinkedIn has search on it, which works in a Boolean way, which means you have to put your words together that you're trying to look for. So if you've got a niche like set of keywords you want to look for, you can't just type in those keywords and hope it will find it. You have to put them into like speech marks. But yeah, absolutely 100%. All social media channels have got a search bar function on them to allow you to search for people who are potentially needing your help, or maybe even in the same field as you. So for example, on Instagram, there are people who will post a piece of content and they'll get tens of thousands of people responding to their content. Now, they're not going to have time to necessarily go through all of those comments and things like that. But if you are an expert in the same field, there's nothing stopping you reaching out saying, "Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. Maybe I could help. Have you tried X, Y, and Z?" I'm not saying trying to sell your services. You don't dive into somebody else's content and trying to sell your own content. But you could try and dive in and give a bit of value. Now, that you're not necessarily saying, if it's, for example, a beauty therapy person and you're a beauty therapist, I'm not saying dive in there and start selling your beauty therapy company. Just literally, or beauty therapy channels even, just literally dive in there and say, "Oh, you've got problems with suntan lotions. Have you tried this type? They're hypoallergenic," or something like that. And then you've given value. Then you step away, but you've opened the floor to a conversation. If the person comes back to you, awesome, then continue that conversation. And if they don't, you've not lost anything, but they might have got some value from it. And they might eventually at some point in the future go, "I might go check out, see if they've got any content that they make." And they go and have a look and they go, "Oh, they do make content. And that content's really valuable. You know what? I'm going to start following them as well. They were nice enough to reach out, give me some value, not expect anything in return. I'm going to go follow them and give them something in return." And you do that, again, for an hour a day, 10, 15 minutes even a day would not kill you to reach out for 10, 15 minutes on all the different social media channels. So go onto Twitter and search for people who do what it is that you do, or people who are looking for help in the area that you're working in. Go onto YouTube, do the same thing. Do it on LinkedIn, do it on Facebook, join different groups on Facebook. It's all about being social. Any way that you could potentially be social, reach out there and be social. Help those people who are potentially looking for your help. Which then leads me on to point number 3, is also just to go out and comment on people's content. This morning, I've started off my day at 11 o'clock, just after Max had gone to sleep, going on to the 11th hour, which is one of the Twitter hours I'm part of, and just commenting on people's content. Some of the stuff was really interesting, and some of the stuff people are selling is really cool on the 11th hour. So I went on there and said hello and asked how everybody was, and then commented on a few people's content. And I got instantly responses from those people, because people want that interaction. They want you to reach out and say hello. So don't forget that you also are consuming other people's content all the time. So don't just consume somebody's content and then step away. If somebody's taken the time to make some content and you've got enough time on your hands, why not just leave a quick message just saying, "Thanks ever so much. I got so much value from this." Or if you've got any questions, thanks so much for this. Can I ask X, Y, Z? And just ask that question, because some stuff might not necessarily sit right with you, or you might not understand it. But that's what they're putting that content out there for in the first place. They want you to interact with it. They want you to ask questions. They want to open that line of communication. That's what brands and businesses do. They use social media to open a line of communication. They use social media to be social, but to try and open that line of communication so that they can potentially convert you into a customer or at least a new member of their tribe. So feel free to ask them questions. If you don't understand something, feel free to ask them something. They're not going to bite your head off, and they're not going to say it's a stupid question, because that would kill their business and them completely. So just reach out and ask for that help and ask for that explanation. So just really, please think about, when you're using social media, being more social. Respond to comments, 1. Number 2, reach out and help people looking for help in the area that you are an expert in. Be that somebody literally reaching out on a social media channel and saying, look, I really need help with my social media. Bang, I can get in there and just say, look, what kind of help do you need? And maybe I can give you some value. Maybe you could download my book for free, that kind of stuff. Number 2, still as well, reach out to people on influencer pages. So if there's a big influencer, they're creating content, and they've not got time to respond to all the questions that are coming in, there is nothing to stop you from reaching out and helping some of those people. Just don't sell. Just don't try and drag them away from their content to your content. That's probably, is the biggest no-no. Don't do that. That's like somebody posting a video on YouTube and you going on there and going, oh, have you looked at my channel? It's loads better. And then stepping away and expecting all those people who are watching in their droves, watching Bob's Cooking on YouTube, who has 10 million followers, and going, oh, well, he said it's better. It must be better. Let's go check it out. They're not likely to do that. In fact, they're more likely to just go, swivel sunshine, and walk away and never come and look at your content in the first place. But if there's somebody on there on Bob's Cooking and Bob's not got time to go back to everybody, and they're saying, would you recommend using sunflower oil over olive oil when it comes to making my roast potatoes, and you know the answer to that, then give them the answer to that. But don't expect them to come to your channel. Don't just say, oh, I've got a great video about this, come and have a look at it. Just say, absolutely, sunflower oil would be far better because of X, Y, and Z. Hope that helps. And then step away. They will potentially see the name of your channel. If your channel is Stan's cooking channel, they might go, oh, well, Stan's a chef as well. Let me go and have a look at, see what Stan makes, and come and have a look at your channel and go, wow, he makes some really cool stuff, and it's all value driven. And he gave me some value before. I'm going to follow because he gave me value. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Just be more social on social media. Reach out and be social. It takes a lot of hard work, but it doesn't take hours out of your day. It doesn't need to. Just 10, 15 minutes on each different channel. That will add up to maybe like an hour and a half out of your day. Oh no, that means you can't watch Love Island tonight or whatever the crappy reality TV show is currently on. That's not the end of the world. Which would you rather have? An hour and a half of enjoyment watching Love Island, or 2 or 3 days worth of an hour and a half and potentially getting some more followers who might become part of your tribe, who might become customers further down the line? In other words, potentially more money. And I never talk about money. I never talk about selling. But that's where all of this is hopefully going to lead you as a brand and as a business, is to a point where you can make some money out of your business. You should be trying to make money anyway. If you aren't selling anything, if you aren't making money before you do any of this kind of stuff, then you're screwed, because money makes the world go round. Unfortunately, even in these difficult times, money is really important. And also, and I've said it once and I'll say it again, people are still buying even in these difficult times. You just need to pivot your business ever so slightly to fill the needs of the audience that you are filling. Now, for example, I've not really had to do a massive pivot because I already give value. I already do what I do, and people are coming to us as a business and me as a brand asking for social media help and asking for us to do editing for them and that kind of thing. But other businesses might not necessarily be able to make money that so much right now, but they could build their brand online. I know, for example, a barbers who creates their own products, are absolutely amazing. Obviously, they can't cut people's hair at the moment, but what's to stop them from creating content that teaches people how to cut hair, how to shave hair, all of that kind of stuff, and then sell their products off the back end of that? There's nothing to stop them from doing that. Creating content that gives that value and then saying, right, okay, have you tried X, Y, or Z? There's nothing to stop you from doing that. Don't do it all the time. I'm saying don't sell all the time. Give value over selling. But if you're giving enough value, there's nothing to stop you saying, don't forget we do these products, or don't forget I do this, or don't forget we do that. And let's have a quick look at what's happening in the comments. Don't forget, if you are watching, no matter what channel it is you're watching on, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, please feel free to leave your comments in the section below and ask me your questions, as many questions as you want. And also, of course, I do understand not everybody wants to ask a question live because they feel maybe there might be a little bit stupid question. Number one, there are no stupid questions. But if you feel that way at all, feel free to drop me an email. I can either take your name and details out of it and try and answer your question as best as I possibly can right now, or we can do some back and forth on email or arrange a Skype call and have a 15-minute one-to-one and have a chat and try and get you some answers for the questions that you've got. So hopefully that will help you. If you don't want to stick your hand up in class right now, drop me an email. It's scrolling along on the bottom right there, simons@perceptionstudios.co.uk. If you're listening to this as a podcast, it's in the description. Drop me an email. I'm more than happy to try and help you out as best as I possibly can. Going to the comments at the moment, Shirley, I know a woman that owns and runs a hair salon in Canada. Due to circumstances, the shop is temporarily closed. She still puts up things on Facebook about the shop in an offhand way, like interviews of the girls that work there. It keeps it fresh and in people's minds. When things are open again, they'll think of her shop. Exactly. And it's that kind of thing that's really interesting. And also, I think what would be really cool, especially for smaller local businesses, if you are quite like a niche area, if you live in a small local area, why don't you interview other businesses in that small local area? Those people who aren't in what we're calling in the UK furlough, so they're not in a position where they're not allowed to work at all. Those people who are maybe directors of the business or own the business, then they're still able to work on the business and they still have to work on the business. So get them in on your content, interview them, talk to them. That local aspect really brings the community together. It's almost like community radio, but let's face it, not many areas have great community radio, or any community radio for that matter. Some places have brilliant community radio. My old hometown of Hull, they have some great community stations. Newbury, where I used to live, they have a great community radio. Not every place has that though. So maybe become that community radio, that community podcast almost, and put content out onto all the local channels saying, oh, this week I was chatting to Steve the Butcher, who's still providing meat to homeless charities. Or this week I was talking to Helen, who is a supermarket checkout worker at Tesco. Or I was talking to Susanna, who is a pharmacy ACT with this particular business. All that kind of stuff. Let's have a look at some of the questions coming in. Hello, watching on Facebook, thinking about arranging an interview for a Facebook Live using Zoom. Is that a good way of doing it? I'm comfortable using Zoom, so I'd like to know as much as possible. If you're going live, you can't go wrong with this piece of software I'm using right now, StreamYard. And if you're only going to stream to one channel, it's absolutely free. It's only if you're going to stream to multiple channels that it costs money. But it is brilliant, absolutely fantastic software. I love it, I really do. And I'm just wondering, am I able to? No, not here. But I have a link if you ever wanted to pay for it, and that will get you $10 off. But it's a great piece of software. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I'll be honest. You can put banners up and all that kind of stuff. All of that is completely free. You can show people's questions, like I just did there, Asa, Christina Magnuson. I think I got that right. Try to just say it quickly, and then it just sounds like you've said it right. If you're going to do it on Zoom, absolutely, it's perfectly fine. The only thing I would say about Zoom is, number one, 100%. If you've got the speed and the computer to do it, save your video rather than to the cloud. Save it to your desktop. Save it to your computer. Number two, make sure you tell Zoom you want your video to be in HT. Its default is 480p, and that looks shit. It doesn't look great. especially when we're all starting to kind of get used to seeing more HD quality content. So make sure you tell it to do that as well. Obviously, if you've got an external microphone, something like this, or even a lapel mic, make sure that it knows that it wants to be listening to the lapel mic and not to the microphone on your computer or on your mobile phone. That kind of stuff, really important. Zoom is a great way of doing it. And again, you can get a copy of the recording really easily. It will have saved to your computer. Then you can edit that and use that. StreamYard, again, gives you that opportunity. It allows you to download it as audio on its own, or you can download it as a video with the audio connected. And yeah, you know what? I really can't fault this software. I really can't. There is a link in the description below once this video has gone live fully and everything's been put into the description box on all the different channels. Feel free to go check out the description box. There is a link in there for my kind of like affiliate thing with StreamYard. But I'm not saying definitely use StreamYard. Use what you're comfortable with. Use what you're happy with. Zoom, you can't go wrong with it. Just make sure you tell it to do what you want it to do and tell it to make your content look as best as it possibly can do. There are other things you can do within Zoom and with other pieces of software and other kit to make your content look even better. But that comes down to spending money, and nobody needs to be doing that right now. Just do the best you possibly can with the best that you have. And Zoom is a great tool to do that with. So yeah, feel free to do it on Zoom. Just make sure that you are telling it you want it in HD. That's probably the biggest thing. And also, if you want a recording of it, don't save it to the cloud. Save it to your desktop. I mean, both ways, it can be a bit glitchy, especially with the audio of the voice. And you will have heard it when you're watching back maybe somebody else's Zoom. The audio of the voice isn't all that brilliant. If you have the time and the skill set, I would probably say record the audio separately while you're going live, and then make the future videos that you're going to repurpose from the main video with that audio rather than the audio that's coming from Zoom, because it can be a bit glitchy. But yeah, still a great tool, and hopefully that's helped. In fact, there we go. Great advice. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure. Okay, we've nearly been going half an hour. Blimey, O'Reilly. These things just fly by, don't they? If you've got any questions right now, for anybody who's watching, feel free to drop them into the questions, into the comments on the channel that you're watching right now, and I will do my best to answer them. If you have not as well joined my group yet, why not? What is wrong with you? It is available here, how to 9x your social media. Go join the group. You can check it out on Facebook right now. In fact, I think I might have found a new feature on StreamYard. So just give me 1 second. Let me just get this here. And if I do that and then say to you guys, go and check in the comments right now on the channel that you're watching on. And hopefully, oh no, Beach Ball of Death. My Mac is so slow. In your own time, computer. You're only copying and pasting. Why are you struggling with that? It's really struggling. Anyway, in a minute, there we go. The link to the group is in all my social media channels now, on Periscope, on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Go and check it out. Go and join that group, How to 9 Times Your Social Media. And then the top of that group, for free, right now, there's a link on there. You get my book, absolutely free, former #1 book. It takes you through the whole process in a generic way of how you can make content for your business, starting with strategy and marketing plans and all the way through to the very end where we're talking about podcasting. There's everything in there. So just get yourself a copy of the book. You can, if you want, sign up to my newsletter. The newsletter is going to go out today. I've got a brand new newsletter going out. But if you don't want to ever hear from this dodgy northerner again, I don't care. Get hold of a copy of my book, get it for free, get some value from it, and go and start making some content. It really doesn't bother me if you sign up to my newsletter or not. It would be great if you did, and thank you very much, but you don't have to. Excuse me. All that I care about right now is that you get on that content journey. I want to see as many brands and as many businesses as humanly possible get out the other side of this thing and start making some money. I'm not saying you can't make money now. There is still money being spent, but there's less money being spent. And we want to get up to the other side of this and still have a business, still have a brand ready to fire and keep going with. And if you've built a brand on all your social media channels, then you can make a huge difference. Anyway, we're coming up to 30 minutes. The questions have dried up for the day. So I'm going to disappear. I'm going to go make myself another brew. I'm going to download this video. I'm going to edit yesterday's video into more content. And then I'm going to edit this one into more content, because that's what it's all about, is making your content work harder for you, making more content out of one single piece of content so that you can just keep your brand in people's faces, especially at the moment. So until tomorrow, have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. Enjoy the exercise, whatever it is that you're going to do today. Have a good brew as well. Make sure you make a nice cup of coffee and enjoy that too. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm off back to daddy daycare duties now. See you then. Take care. Bye.